Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. And thank you so much for joining our session today. My name is Yvonne Johnson, and I will be the facilitator for the session today. And I am the multimodal teaching coordinator in the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning. I help faculty with all modalities of teaching and all lengths of teaching and levels. And I also teach research courses for the College of Health and Human Sciences. And I'm very happy to be with you all today. I'm so happy that you all joined and are going to be sharing your insights today. And to get started building community, if you could please, you can type in the chat for this, if you would put your name and department or your unit, what you teach, and think about a first day of class that kind of stands out to you, what went well or what were the challenges. And we'll discuss that over time, but if you just introduce yourselves in the chat, that would be great. Thank you. Okay, so the chat is at the bottom of the screen. So please go ahead and type in your responses there, your name, department, and what you teach or what your role is at NIU. And I see from the participants that we have, okay, Neetha Sarvan from Nursing Pharmacology, okay. Mary Hinchke from College of Health and Human Sciences and Nursing, okay, great. So we have Abdole, how do you pronounce your name, please?
Abdullah, and you can pronounce it any way. I'll be fine. It's Abdullah.
Abdullah. Oh, okay, thank you. And then we have Rowan. All right, so we have a mix of people from different disciplines, and there's other people that are going to be joining. And we're going to talk about the first day of class. And
number 6, quarter number 6.
could everybody mute their microphone,
yeah, okay.
please?
They changed it to 23. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
When I go to the AAID website, the page is updated in 23.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to.
Yes, this is anyway published in 23.
Yeah.
Okay, can everybody please mute? I think everybody's muted now. Okay, awesome, thank you. So the first question on the screen is, did you all read the reminder email? And the point of that question was, we often skim notifications we get in email, and sometimes people put this question out and they have asked people to come to the session with some sort of preparatory work completed. And I didn't do that today, but that's an important thing to keep in mind when we share information with students. Just like us, sometimes they don't necessarily read the whole email. They might quick glance at it. So we just want to be cognizant of that. So let's start by just having a couple of people share their favorite first day of class story. You can raise your hand and then unmute your microphone and just share, what was a great first day of class for you? Whether it is your teaching or a class that you were in.
Online class, you mean online?
No, it can be either. It can be face-to-face, blended online, anyone.
For me, for the online would be where I introduce myself. My name is X, Y, and Z. Then at the end, I ask who's gonna pop next, POP. Then I'll say you can ask another person to pop up, like you know, jokingly, and students would be, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Who's gonna
they
pop
get
next?
engaged that way?
Yes.
Okay,
Who's gonna pop next? Pop like POP,
okay.
pop.
Oh, so it sounds fun. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, who else has an example of a first day of class that went really well or something that stands out that was fun? Okay, Anita, go ahead, please.
Hi, I just start
Hi.
my class. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I like to start my class with a few sentences about me, which is 50% right, 50% wrong, and I ask them to guess. So for example, I'll say I'm like 20 years old. And then I'll say something very like whatever comes to my mind at that time. So I'll say like 5 or 6 things and then I'll ask them to guess. So we start off on, it's a lot of laughing to break the ice.
Okay, all right. Great. So getting them engaged and getting them joyful and connecting with each other. That's terrific. Thank you, Anita. One more. Does anybody else want to share a favorite first day of class story?
Can go for one more. I'm a little guy. I'm small. You would think that I am a student. So I go to class, I pretend as if I'm a student. And usually I look at the picture of the student and I'll be like, Anthony, how are you doing? I know you, man. We have met. So I joke and they don't know that I'm a teacher. I joke, then I just go in front of the class and so this can be fun at times.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about some different aspects that are really important for the first day of class, the first day of the semester. It's really important to plan Oh, okay.
We can't hear you. I think you're muted.
I don't know what's going on with that audio. Can you hear it now? Can you hear it
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Oh, what's going on with that audio? Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, I can hear it now. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
didn't hear that about that slide.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. I don't know what's happening with the audio, but So it's really important to think carefully about your first day of class and create positive first impressions of the course with the students of the learning environment. And, you know, you want to make sure that your students have a reason to be in the course. And we want to build an inclusive type of environment that students feel comfortable that they will be able to learn and able to be successful. And some of the tips for starting your semester are, hold on one second, I'm gonna turn off this thing here. Okay. So you want to request your Blackboard course. And so the semester starts next week. There's a process for going through the Blackboard, and this is not a Blackboard seminar, but just go through the request process. And if you have any questions about that, you can contact our CITL team, and we're happy to help you with that. And they're there all day today and tomorrow. And so we're happy to help you with these Blackboard things. And think about, Abadale was talking about online classes or face-to-face classes, and you want to think about what you're going to do in the face-to-face, what you're going to do online, and if you have some people teach hybrid. I teach hybrid. So sometimes I'm face-to-face and sometimes I'm online. So you want to think about what makes the most sense and how you're going to get the most out of each one of those different modalities of teaching. And icebreakers are a good way that you can get students involved quickly. You can use them as an activity. A number of people use them as a syllabus scavenger hunt. Someone was developing an escape room scavenger hunt. I don't remember who that was, but different ways to get people to read the syllabus, and then you can have the students focus on aspects of the syllabus that seem to have maybe again been confusing to students or something like that in prior classes. So the icebreaker serves multiple purposes, can get them engaged, gets them connecting with each other, and helps them to learn about the course syllabus and expectations, things like that. And it's important to learn students' names, and there's different ways that you can do that as well. Name tents, you can have them fill out those Blackboard profiles and add a picture. And some students like to do that. And it is nice because when you pull up Blackboard, then you see their picture, and it does help you to remember the individual students. And that's really important in terms of building that community. And you want students to feel like they're an important member of the course. And sometimes people say they have really large classes. And so you might try to learn a few names at a time. You might have students when they're sharing in class, have them say their name or have them introduce another student. I do that in my class. I taught this past weekend, and I have the students interview each other, and then they introduce another colleague. And I always connect the questions to the content of the course so that it's an engaging activity. It's an opportunity for people to learn each other's names, and you can learn something about them. And that's an important aspect of building community. And if students feel like they're part of the community, then they're more likely to engage in the course. And one of the things that's really, really important is to spark some curiosity on the first day and show your enthusiasm about the content, because if they're excited about the content, then they're going to be more excited about learning. So how do you get that how do you get that moment, like those two little boys opening the Christmas present? How do you get that in your class? And one of the things you can do is, think back to yourself when you were getting into deciding a career, things like that. What was it that was really exciting to you about the discipline? Why did you decide that you wanted to teach nursing or educational technology or public health? So can some people share what they might do to spark curiosity in the topic so that students would see that there's an important reason to attend the class and they'd be excited about it? I teach research courses, and some of them are required courses. And so when you teach a required course, sometimes students are interested in the content and sometimes they're not. So I try to bring in ways for them to connect the content to their lives. Why would this content, why is research important to your life? And then help them to discover how often they actually conduct research and how it can benefit them. And if they're purchasing a cell phone or an electric car or whatever. And I also, when I teach research, I really love research. And so my, students will say, wow, we can really tell that you really like this. And so it makes them feel like, well, maybe it's more interesting than I thought it was going to be. And they're more excited about coming to the class. So, but if you can spark that curiosity, Sarah Rose Kavanaugh is a researcher from the discipline of psychology, and she came to NIU a couple of years ago. She had written a book called The Spark of Learning, and it talked about emotions and learning and how if you can connect learning with an emotion, like they get really curious and excited, then they're more likely to remember that information. And it's more likely to go from short-term memory to long-term memory. And that's really what you want. So if you can get them, they're curious on that first day and try to keep that curiosity going each class, then that will help them to retain the information more. And learning and expectations, let's talk about that a little bit. One of the suggestions is to have students try a task in the course before they're ready. And what that's really getting at is asking students to, you don't explicitly ask them, but this is what's happening. You say, okay, I want you to try, I want you to discuss a particular problem, something that's not too advanced, but something that would reasonably challenge their intelligence a little bit, their knowledge. And so what happens is they need to delve into their knowledge and experience that they already have and connect that with this new problem or this new content. And that's another technique that helps them to learn and remember the content better. Because if they're taking new content and connecting it with something that they already understand, then they're more likely to retain that in their long-term memory, and you're going to be able to continue to build their knowledge. And ask students to think about what techniques help them learn the best, and you can have a discussion about this, or you could have a discussion board about it. And I follow that with some open-ended prompts, such as, well, why, you said that active exploration in the course helps me to learn. So you'd say, well, why? And they'll say, well, they might say that they learn more from the activities in the class than they do from the readings, but you want to make sure that they're reading as well. So if you can show them why that's important in the content, then that's going to make sure that they're not only engaged in the activities, but also engaged in the reading. And have them, when you have them reflect and try to discover the answers on their own, that's going to be more effective in terms of their metacognitive levels, because they have to think about their own learning and what works the best. And when they discover it themselves, they might discover, wow, I learned a lot better in the biology course than I did in the course where I had to work on mechanical things, where I had to read a lot. And they think about why, and then they can think about, okay, how am I going to learn this? And when I have to take a course that requires me to read a lot, when I would really prefer to work on something mechanical. And active learning has also gained quite a bit of attention in terms of helping the students learn, and that you could demonstrate something and then have them actively do it. And when they're discovering the knowledge, they're challenging themselves, they're experiencing problems and solving that, then they're going to learn the content on a deeper level. And some of the things that you want to do in terms of this is actually before the first day of class, is you're setting up your Blackboard courses, or you might have set them up quite a while ago. So it's important that you have an orientation module in your course, and that it's clearly set up. This is an example of a Blackboard Ultra course view module, and it has the information on the syllabus and the course schedule and grading and accessibility and all those kinds of things. And the good thing about the learning management system is that it can house a lot of information, and so you can discuss it, but then it's always there for the students to access. So the orientation should include everything that the student's going to need to know about the requirements in the course and your expectations, those types of things. And it's important to help students see the relevance of the content and understand the expectations. So you can send out a survey even before the first day of class, so that you have some knowledge of the students when they come into the class. You might ask them what their prior knowledge is about the topic. Why are they interested in this topic? And then you have that information on the first day of class, and then you can spark their curiosity or build upon that. And then it can be a more impactful first day of class. And sending out your, the syllabus and having this course schedule, having that available before the class gives students time to look at it and be prepared to ask questions. And one of the things that's also important is connect the first day with the big assignments at the end, and then explain how you're going to get there, so that they understand the path and the focus of the course. And assign tasks that have the students reflect. And I use quite a bit of reflection in my teaching, and I found that it helps them to be more self-directed. I'll kind of set up the questions to help them discover things about themselves. Like if they had challenges with a certain assignment, ask some open-ended questions. Were they fully prepared? Was there something that they didn't understand? They didn't ask about, things like that. And then it can help with their study skills as well, because they've learned from these reflections. And we talked about Blackboard and how you can house all the information. It really is nice, because if the students, they can just keep going back to it. And you can use a quick activity to provide course logistics to the students. And that would be those foundational aspects that are critical for them to succeed in the course. What are the books? What's the grading scale? Things like that. Policies, you have the different paragraphs that you put on the syllabus that are shows that you're going to have an inclusive class, and you're going to respect the diversity of all of the students, and accessible content and accessibility to all of the students, things like that. So you could have a quick activity about that. And then that's going to show that you're building that inclusive environment, as well as let them know what the logistics for the course are. And you could give some non-graded assessments for them to do some kind of maybe a think, pair, share, or something where they work with a partner to go through the logistics in Blackboard or something. And they could do that as an activity, a quick activity in the course. Provide resources for them to review and the clear expectations. And you can have students, to gain more buy-in, you can have students contribute to building class policies and norms for behavior. And whenever you include them in developing these norms and expectations, that helps them to be more committed to it, because they feel like they had a voice in the process. You can build open discussions, can build help forums where students can help answer each other's questions, where you can answer a question once and then it's available to everybody. And building community starts with that very first day. It actually starts with your very first contact with the student. So maybe you're sending an email, maybe you're sending an announcement from Blackboard. And so they're going to start getting an impression of you, and they're going to start getting an impression of the community of this course. And it's important that the course is humanized. It feels real to the students. There's connections between the professor and the students. And some of the things you can do is greet each student individually if you can, or you can kind of stand by the door if they're walking in, or you can greet them when they're coming in from the waiting room, and help students to start to connect with each other. So get conversations going. And a couple of people talked about how they use activities on that first day to get those conversations going. And that's really important, because you don't want them to start thinking that they're not going to be engaged in the course. It's really important that they're a part of that learning community and contributing. And we want to set a positive tone and an inclusive and culturally responsive tone, and make sure that students know that their voice is important, and that different perspectives are valued. And some of those paragraphs from our ADEI site, some of those paragraphs for the syllabus, those will help to show students that you're supportive of that diversity and inclusion. And when you're sharing resources and examples, make sure that you share them so that students can see themselves in the course or in the discipline. And so you'd be sharing a wide range of different backgrounds and examples of people in the field or issues in the field, scholars in the field, things like that. And we talked about reflection. Reflection is really important in helping students with that metacognition. And the welcome messages. Everybody probably sends a welcome message, and that's a lot of times sent before the class. I do that about a week before the class. And so because some students like to get ready ahead of time. So we want to, calm down that anticipation that they have, so they can say, okay, I know what the books are. I know what the schedule is, things like that. But the tone of a welcome message is important and will go a long way in building that community. You want to make sure that students realize that you care about them and you really want to support their learning. So think about how the wording in in all of the documents in your course, how that's going to come across to students. And one of the things I do is we have a variety of different ways to record our introductions. And so I'll record an introduction of myself using Kaltura, and I'll talk about the course. I'll talk about a little bit about myself, put in a little something about hobbies so that they understand, okay, she's interested. This is what the course is about. It's going to be a short video, but it's about this topic. This is why it's important. I got excited about it because of these aspects of the discipline. And there's a little bit about myself, my hobbies. And so that's available for the students. And it helps that learning management system feel more humanized and helps you to connect with the students. And they can always go back and look at, she said she was interested in kayaking. And it's a way for them to connect with you on a level outside of the course as well. And also put a text instructor page. And this one I taught UNIV 101 a couple of semesters ago. And so I put in there, I'm excited about teaching this class, offer to help you, things like that. This is what I do in my full-time job. This is what I do in my hobbies, things like that. It's all part of building a human learning community. And then also to kick off each week, I have a short video that describes the topic and the learning objectives for the week. So when the students go in the course, they see, and I do this for face-to-face or online courses, just a short couple of minutes that lets them know, I'm excited to see you. We're going to be talking about research approaches, and here's the main objectives for the week. So again, there's these videos. They see you in there. And they see you if you're in class. They see you in class. They see you online, and so it really builds strong connections. I've also used Flipgrid. Now it's called Flip. That's a simple way to have students record videos, and they can, I've used it for introductions before, and they can record a video and they can then talk to each other on it. So then I can go in and respond to somebody's video, or other students can respond to it. And you can see the time, it calculates the time they spend, and you can see how much time they're spending connecting in there. So that's another way to do it. Okay, so of the things that we talked about, what do you think you might use in, or just think about, as you're going about your day, getting ready for the first day of class, how you might bring in the building the community and make sure the course expectations are clear, and how are you going to spark that curiosity? So it's, kind of like hook them into the topic and say, wow, I'm really excited about this. They want to run to class or they want to run to the online session. And think about how those different techniques that we talked about could benefit you as an instructor and how they could benefit students. And so does anyone have any comments that they would like to share about the techniques that we discussed? Okay, I don't see any hands. Okay, well, I want you all to know that we, the summary, have a plan, be prepared, build those connections, engage the students in active learning on that first day, and make sure that they understand the course logistics and expectations. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. That's great. I appreciate that feedback. Okay, and remember that our CITL team is here to help you. We have all kinds of different ways to provide support, so get a hold of us and we are happy to help. And so on behalf of the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning, I want to thank you for attending today and to wish you a wonderful spring 2023 semester. Go Huskies.
Thank you.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Really, really helpful.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent
We'll get
presentation.
the recording
Yes, I'll send a link.
on.
Yep, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much.
Mhm. Thank you all. All right, have a great semester.
Yvonne, I have
You
a
too.
question.
Thanks so much.
Yes,
I was really intrigued by some of the tools you mentioned, I think it was Kaltura